and then there's one by Ginger, I think.
Oh, yeah, Ginger's.
Okay.
Here we go, 1 minute. It's gonna help out, I think.
Yeah. Now at noon, a mother charged with felony child neglect in the death of a 3-year-old.
She was taped up with painter's tape from her thighs to her ankles, and also her hands were tied and bound with a bathrobe belt tie.
What a judge had to say as she appeared in court. Plus,
And that school has a lot of history, has a lot of concern for our community. And I don't think that we should take that from our community.
could another school shut down? That's what's being discussed right now in Marion County. You're watching News 6 at noon.
Streaming on clickorlando.com and broadcasting live. You're watching News 6 at noon.
And we start with breaking news right now at noon. This is a live look at Miami Gardens, where a major house fire broke out, prompting a massive emergency response. We're working with our affiliates in Miami to learn what started the fire and if there are any injuries. Right now, the cause is unknown, and we will have updates for you starting on News 6 at 3 o'clock. Here at home, this mother faced a judge earlier today accused of felony child neglect in the death of her 3-year-old. Her boyfriend is facing second-degree murder charges, accused of hitting the child 3 times and causing her death. News 6's Mark Lehman was at the mother's court appearance, and he is filling us in on the case.
Jennifer Kendrick learning she will remain in jail after going before a judge, along with her boyfriend. Both are facing serious counts, and now we're learning more charges are coming in this case.
As far as the violation of probation case, the court's going to hold you on no bond.
A quick decision from the judge as Jennifer Kendrick appeared after an arrest on 2 counts of felony child neglect. Her charges triggering a violation of probation for a previous drug conviction. This morning, we also learned about new charges filed against her boyfriend, Jerome Coombs.
There's more victims that we're talking to, more stories are unfolding. Understand, we're talking to children.
Coombs is facing 2 more child abuse charges connected to other children inside the home where 3-year-old Paisley Brown was found unresponsive and later died last month. Investigators say she was bound and beaten by Coombs, who was eventually charged with homicide.
And what we're learning from these child victims is this is standard behavior, standard practice.
Detectives say Coombs told them he was disciplining Brown, and in his words, he took it too far. Kendrick's arrest coming after deputies tell us she knew of the abuse and waited 40 minutes to call 911. They also say the other children are in protective custody while the investigation continues.
We're trying to find all that out to make sure we've spoken to every victim, got every story, and their story is not lost, but justice is served for those children.
From here, Kendrick will next be in court later this month for her violation of probation. When it comes to the 2 felony counts of child neglect, she's next expected in court on those on April 7th. In Marion County, Mark Lehman, News 6.
All right, Mark, thank you. Sunshine and a little bit of rain here and there. Let's get a check of your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. And Candace, that summer weather is starting to get a little closer.
Yeah, we're starting to see those temperatures really start to get a bit closer towards that 90-degree mark over the next couple of days. Could be flirting with some of those across our inland zones right now. Temperatures out the door. We are in those low 80s. It's taking a little bit of time for that sea breeze to really start starting in. But as it does so, temperatures are not really expected to warm up a whole lot there along the coastline after this. And then as we head into into the afternoon, that sea breeze will try to make its way inland, producing some scattered showers. Let me show you here the satellite, the visible satellite you see in the last couple of frames. You can see all the fair weather clouds, those little kind of cotton ball clouds overhead that are not producing any rain. But notice that sea breeze really hasn't shifted inland just yet. But as it does so, while right now we are looking mostly dry, rain chances will be on the rise along that sea breeze for today. And as it develops, we'll be bringing with it a couple scattered showers, some quick moving downpours, and even the mention of an isolated thunderstorm or two that will start up after about 3-4 o'clock this afternoon across the I-4 corridor, pushing inland throughout the evening. We'll have more details though, and really showing the latest computer model runs coming up in just a couple minutes.
All right, Candace, thank you. Now at noon, a first appearance expected today after a wild scene on the 408. A driver is accused of leading troopers on a chase, then trying to run off into the woods. The whole scene actually started on I-4 when troopers say they clocked Damian Miles doing 86 in a 60. Troopers say instead of stopping, the 21-year-old took off, led them on a miles-long chase, and eventually spun off on the 408 near Good Homes Road. Investigators say Miles tried to run off, but was eventually tased and arrested. Troopers say he had nearly 5 pounds of marijuana in his car and was driving on a suspended license. The Marion County School Board won't be closing Spar Elementary. The decision happened in the last 30 minutes. A decline in enrollment forced the conversation. News 6's Tylisa Hampton is there filling us in on what happened.
An hours-long meeting where parents, community members, and even staff at Spar Elementary really made their voices heard, making those plea to keep that school open and to have the board not consider closing it. Board members say the district has financial problems, a decrease in enrollment, and several schools being under capacity during the February meeting. Some at the board did not agree with one of the rezoning plans, which was to combine Spar and Anthony Elementary schools to one school. However, some disagreed and wanted a long-term solution, suggesting closing Spar next school year and rezoning students to make other schools at full capacity would solve the bigger part of the problem, with the possibility of even building another school. However, today board members heard from those who would be impacted by that decision.
When a school closes, children don't simply change locations. They lose teachers who know their personalities.
For a child with ADHD and ODD, that can sudden change isn't small.
And after the board heard from those community members, they actually chose to not close Spar Elementary School, instead to hold off, have more community meetings, but did say that rezoning would be a part of the future. Reporting for News 6, I'm Tylisa Hampton.
Tylisa, thank you. We are expecting an update on plans for the Permanent Pulse Memorial today. It is set to be on the site of the nightclub. The design team is expected to show new visuals and talk about how the project is moving forward. Preparation is already underway, with construction fencing up as teams get ready for demolition. The iconic sign is set to come down March 10th, with demolition expected to begin March 18th. City leaders say there will be a small area open during construction for visitors to leave flowers and tributes. The meeting is set for 4 o'clock. The U.S. House of Representatives are set to vote on the war powers today, similar to the resolution the Senate just voted down yesterday. It comes as the war escalates in Iran, and the country warns the U.S. will regret sinking one of its warships. Plumes of smoke seen above Tehran as the U.S. and Israel continue devastating airstrikes on Iran. President Trump spoke today about how he feels regarding the conflict.
Somebody said, on a scale of 10, where would you rate it? I said about a 15. And we're going to continue to do well.
The Pentagon has released the final 2 names of U.S. soldiers killed over the weekend: Chief Warrant Officer 3 Robert Marzan and Major Jeffrey O'Brien. The ongoing conflict is having major impacts on gas prices across the country. AAA showing average gas prices in Florida have jumped 30 cents in just a week. News 6's Stephanie Rodriguez is looking into what this means for you.
Right now, the national average for a gallon of gas is $3.25. In Florida, it's 1 cent less at $3.24. That's up from $3.19 the day before. AAA says it's because of the conflict in the Middle East and other springtime changes in supply and demand.
So I noticed a change.
Sticker shock at the pump.
A gallon of gas costs more than a burger.
Since the U.S. and Israel launched a military campaign against Iran, gas prices have increased.
These are the highest gas prices that we've seen since last spring.
AAA says the conflict has led to constrained oil exports.
The oil prices have increased as a result of that, rising about $7 per barrel just in the past couple of days alone. That's the equivalent of about a 20-cent increase at the pump.
Even before the conflict in the Middle East, gas prices were already following similar seasonal patterns. This time of year, gas demand tends to rise as spring break travel ramps up and refineries switch to summer blend gasoline.
It's a special kind of blend of gasoline that enables the vehicles to burn that fuel more efficiently during the hotter summer months.
As it's likely the cost will continue going up this week, drivers are getting fuel now.
Well, I fill up my tank to make sure that I get it before it increases again.
Oil prices are sitting around $74 a barrel, but AAA says that's a long ways away from the $120 a barrel we saw when the Russia and Ukraine war began. Reporting in Seminole County, Stephanie Rodriguez, News 6.
Stephanie, thank you. And taking a live look at the stock market, the Dow Jones has been trending down all morning. It's currently down more than 700 points in response to those rising oil prices. And we're keeping track of everything happening in Iran and keeping you up to date. You can find out the latest on air or on our website, clickorlando.com.
It's chemically treated sewage, chemicals, along with fecal matter.
Concerns answered in Daytona Beach as city commissioners discussed a charter amendment that would ban toilet-to-tap water. It would give people living there a chance to vote to keep it out of their communities for good.
I certainly don't want my children treated sewage water. I think that's awful.
We've got one more reading to go so that the people can vote. And if it's a vote, it will be a vote to amend the charter, so it's not something a subsequent commission can just put away. It would have to be put away by the voters at a later time if that's what the voters at that time wanted to do.
Several cities across Florida have discussed using highly treated sewage water for drinking water to curb water shortages. But Daytona Beach is talking about giving voters the chance to stop it before it happens. The next meeting is in 2 weeks, and if the amendment is passed, it would go to voters in November. He is a former city commissioner now looking to make his mark as mayor in Apopka. Coming up, what Nick Nesta had to say as he vies for the seat, including what he says his vision is for the downtown area.
This portion of the news is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
Welcome back. We're coming right up to the race for Apopka mayor, and ahead of next week's race, News 6 anchor Matt Austin has been teaming up with the Orlando Sentinel to ask the candidates about their plans for the city and specifically downtown. Now, we've already heard from current Mayor Brian Nelson and Christine Moore, and today we hear from former City Commissioner Nick Nesta.
Let's talk about Apopka's downtown. It has recently undergone a pretty big, vivid transformation, but we have certainly seen some businesses are struggling. We've seen restaurants and at least one bar shut down. And there are still some problems with traffic there and other issues. So tell me, and tell the voters really, what is your idea? What is your vision for downtown Apopka? Commissioner Nesta.
Thank you. Yeah, the downtown Apopka area, having grown up here and really seen it go through transformation and changes, and businesses come, businesses go. And the problem is that we don't have a cohesive or comprehensive plan. How do we create synergy between the downtown area, the business owners there? There's a substantial amount of churches down there. Once elected, I'm going to make sure that we reintroduce what the city is to be to our residents, how we enjoy the city again. We haven't shown our residents how to truly enjoy our downtown area. One big thing is I pushed hard for the economic development director and department that the current administration really pushed against. So it's just actually utilizing that department to its fullest potential, incentivizing businesses not only to come to downtown, but to stay downtown.
The three candidates answered questions for almost an hour. If you would like to see the entire interview, we have posted it on clickorlando.com and coming up on News 6 tonight.
Talk to the governor, the county mayor, those at the state level, at all levels, to let them know about the needs of our town.
She has lived in town for 43 years and been a council member the last 4. News 6 anchor Lauren Melendez shows us Wanda Randolph's vision for Edenville as she looks for the mayor's seat. Look for it on News 6 at 4 and on clickorlando.com. All right, a little bit of sun and a little bit of rain. It is almost feeling like summer. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. And Candace, what's up for the rest of the day?
So pattern-wise, very summer-like. The intensity, we're not there just yet. We're not feeling like the triple digits or talking about big-time booming thunderstorms, but we have a little bit of rain and a little bit of warmth. So this is what's going on right now in the satellite imagery. You can see we're going to have a steady flow on out of the east all around the big ridge of high pressure. And that's going to continue to usher in a couple scattered showers, but it's really going to help kind of ignite that sea breeze that will eventually start to develop some rain, even some thunderstorms to the forecast for our inland zones this evening. But while that is also happening, we're also talking about a big dome of high pressure that's keeping things very dry. It's also the culprit of why systems like this one, another cold front, is going to be staying far to the north, because at this point in time, that high is almost acting like a roadblock and not allowing any of these cooling systems or possible storm systems from moving anywhere close to us here in Central Florida. You can see the severe weather risk today and tomorrow will be elevated. So if you do have any travel plans further north from Omaha all the way down through Texas and out through Chicago, we are looking at the potential. But in the meantime, well ahead of that system, we're going to be staying under this, a big dome of high pressure, and that's really going to help ramp up those temperatures. But as you can see, those temperatures are warming up quickly, already starting to see a little bit of a sea breeze starting, and as it pushes inland, it will start cooling you guys back down into the 70s. And then further inland, temperatures right now are in the 80s, but we're really going to start ramping up those temperatures. Now let's check on that hour-by-hour forecast for your Thursday.
Your forecast is sponsored by Strata Services.
Notice those rain chances will be bumping up to about 30 to 40%. Not a lot of rain right now. We barely have any rain at this point in time. But again, as that sea breeze develops, that's where we will see our best shot for rain. You can see how quickly the cloud cover just kind of peels away from the coast. That is the leading edge of our sea breeze. And as it pushes through, all the heating that we're currently seeing, all that sunshine is going to add lift, right? Warm air tends to rise. And as it rises, there's just enough moisture to produce those scattered showers. So by about 3, 4 o'clock, just in time for dismissal of after-school activities, games, practices, whatnot, we will have to dodge some rain right along kind of the I-4 corridor zone. And all that will continue to shift towards the west, developing some pockets, some heavy downpours, maybe a few thunderstorms in the mix. I don't see a big severe weather concern, but lately, we haven't had a lot of booming thunderstorms. So if you do hear that crack, just make sure that you're getting inside and waiting 30 minutes after the last thunder to know that it's okay to go back outside. I know it's one of those things that we have to remember after our very dry season. Overall, the temperature anomalies across the eastern half of the country will be staying above normal because of that big hot high. And that's the reason why we could be flirting with records this weekend. Notice our highs both Saturday and Sunday into the upper 80s. Again, a couple scattered showers will remain in place. We're looking at a very kind of consistent weather pattern as we lose that hour of sleep come Sunday morning. But again, we are talking about nearing record highs on Sunday, something we'll be watching very closely as it could get pretty close to near 90 by later on next week.
All right, Candace, thank you. A woman scammed out of thousands of dollars, according to Volusia deputies, and they want to put out a warning. Coming up, how they welcomed the suspect to Volusia County and what the sheriff had to say. We are back in just a moment. Welcome back. Caution when answering your phone. That's what the Volusia Sheriff's Office wants to remind you of. They say a woman was scammed out of thousands of dollars, and the suspect, this woman here, is part of a larger fraud ring. Deputies say that ring stole nearly 80 grand from the victim. Deputies greeted the suspect when she arrived from Atlanta.
You can tell your homeboys that when you around in Volusia County, you're getting locked up. So I don't know if it was worth it or not.
The Sheriff's Office Financial Crimes Unit were able to track the money, which led them to Desiree Youngblood. She is now facing grand theft and organized scheme to defraud charges. And a new requirement in flight on United Airlines. You must now bring earbuds or headphones to listen to your devices. If you don't, you could get banned permanently for listening out loud. The airline says the new rule is because of safety issues for everyone on board. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back. We want to take one last look at that breaking news in Miami. A major warehouse fire is happening right now. This is a live look. There is a massive emergency response as we work with our affiliates to learn what exactly happened. We'll have an update on this afternoon at 3 o'clock. That looks terrible.
That it really does. And you can see all the crews surrounding that warehouse. Locally here, though, we are looking at a better shot for some scattered showers in the forecast, very summer-like. Notice those rain chances, Lewis, about 30 to 40% every afternoon. Looks very summer-like, right? We will be watching for the potential for some showers, a few thunderstorms. Meteorologist Julie Broughton will be in for Jonathan Kegas tonight. She'll be watching that radar very closely, but don't expect the summer heat, though, to really ramp up until maybe next week.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us at noon. Our next newscast is at 3. And remember, you can always check clickorlando.com. Have a good day.